Okay, guys, I'm going to show you a few more things. I think what I'm going to show you now is let me just get rid of all this right here and kind of start over. It's not only select. It's not only column names you can put in your select. There's a few other things. I already showed you the aggregate. It's called an aggregate function. Aggregate means to gather together, literally. So you're gathering a bunch of things together and doing a sort of computation on them. I'm going to have to pause while the dogs are barking. Okay, I forgot where I left off. I think I was going to show you some examples of stuff that's not just the plain column name and your select. So there's these derived or computed values, we'll call them, because I think the book calls them that. So you can do like simple math. So especially if you got, obviously if you got numbers, take the price, multiply it by the quantity on hand, and that gives you like maybe a sensible thing that you might want to know about, which is like, how much value-wise in stock do you have for that particular thing. So if I remember right, here we have descriptions instead of names for these products. So this is going to tell you kind of like how much each one of these things is worth. So if you notice, if you multiply the quantity on hand by the price, you've got $314 worth of 9-inch power saws. I'd have to see how that seems like a very kind of low number. So you maybe only have 2 or 3, 4, but you get the idea. This makes sense. A chainsaw, I could see multiplying a bunch of those together and getting that much money. That could be like how much they're worth. There's ways of like also adjusting like the numbers here. We're not going to get into that right away, but I just wanted you to know it exists. And something else I haven't talked about are aliases, so I'm going to talk about that now. I did talk about aliases for tables down here. You can also have tables for these things. If I remember right, the as is usually optional here, but total stock value or something like that. I'm just making this up out of my butt, but you can name your columns something that's sensible. My friends have nothing important to say. I'm sure it's just memes. So in your output, this column's description is total stock value here. So that's another use of aliases. There's an example in the book of this, so you can just check that. But this is this particular instance here with the P after the table name is, like, in my opinion, a more useful way to use aliases. But if you want your stuff to look pretty. Now Oracle has something called what is it called? It's not PL/SQL. That's procedural. There's a more like advanced form of Oracle SQL that will make all your stuff look really pretty. There's like a to-char, to-date, and you can make stuff look exactly how you want. It's an Oracle thing. It's not a SQL thing. It's on top of the Oracle. But it does exist, just so you know. The truth is though, like if you're doing this like in forms or reports, or it's a website that's retrieving data, you're usually going to make stuff look pretty there. You'll get a value, it'll be a raw value, and your programming language will have ways to make that look pretty. So, the framework above, you could do this at several different layers in the steps up through the hierarchy, the abstraction. But at the most basic level, even in SQL Developer, you have aliases that can make your column names look pretty. Oh, I need a recording studio. That's what I need, where I can leave my phone outside. Dogs can't bark anyway. Another example for here, I showed you count already, but you can also do something like getting the average costs, say, for all, average price for all your products. So that would be done this way for this example. And again, you don't have to use this alias, this P dot thing that I'm using, but I find it convenient. So you'll notice it's the aggregate function. You get one value is the total cost of all the items, all the products together on average. It's the average cost, I should say. There is a way to do total too, which is Sum. Again, these are all called aggregate functions. One value. Add up the prices of all the products, one of each, and their price for one unit. And basically, you're adding up this column, right? That's what all these aggregate functions do, not this column. But this column right here, if you add up all those numbers, the number you should get should be, not that, this number right here. So you've got sum, you've got AVG for average, you've got max, show you the largest value. And of course, there's a min. And there's several things I'm not remembering. I don't think you need to know them all. Just know how this works, and then you can refer to them. That's 6 minutes. That's good.